Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to show you a Void Hunter build that will give you the biggest, fattest and juiciest back bump your friends will ever see on you. And if that's something you would like, might as well hit that like. The cringe, I'm so sorry. Anyways, moving on. The build revolves mostly around you making enemies go boom, but not any boom, purple booms. And not just one or two purple booms, no. A lot more purple booms, like a lot more purple booms. So let's get started. First things first, the exotic. And the exotic for this build will be none other than the Garfield chest piece, lesser known as Gerfalcon Hallberg chest piece, or whatever weird ass name you want to call it. And the reason we're using this exotic is for its perk, See Me, Feel Me, which is basically as follows. When you exit invisibility, your weapons will get volatile rounds for 10 seconds. And those volatile rounds will allow your void weapons to detonate the enemies in a lovely jubbly purple flavored explosion. And the sweet thing about that lovely jubbly purple explosion is that they spread to each enemy close to the target that you're shooting. So if you're in a room with a bunch of enemies close to one another, oh man, the male audience will be so happy. Alright, so we have the exotic down. Let's get to the abilities, then the weapons of choice, and finally the mods and stats that you should be running. Alright. Abilities. Your super should be Shadow Shot Deathfall, which when used will fire a tether onto the surface that latches onto nearby enemies, grouping them up, weakening all of the enemies by 30%, and on top of all of that, dealing any damage to a target will spread that damage to all the targets that are tethered. For your dodge, you should run the Gambler's Dodge, which will fully recharge your melee ability if you dodge near an enemy. Triple jump, please, just triple jump. Snare Bomb, which when detonated will weaken enemies, slow them and give them terrible aim. For the grenade, I suggest running the Vortex Grenade since it groups the enemies together, making a mini purple nuke when you shoot them. Aspects. First aspect we have is the Stylish Executioner. And when you have it on, defeating a weakened, suppressed or volatile enemy will grant you invisibility and wall hacks. Second aspect will be Vanishing Step, which basically makes you invisible when you use your dodge. And when you shoot your weapon, aka exiting invisibility, your weapons will have volatile rounds. And defeating an enemy that is volatile will give you your invisibility back. So, there's your loop, and so on and so forth. Next up, we have the Fragments. First fragment is gonna be Echo of Persistence, which will buff the duration of your invisibility, volatile rounds, and Devour. And if you didn't know already, Devour is basically a restoration for solar builds, but better, like a lot better. So when you kill an enemy, you instantly regain a large portion of your HP bar. So you don't have to wait for your HP to regenerate like, restoration or something else. Second fragment is going to be Echo of Instability. Echo of Instability will give you volatile rounds when you kill a target with your grenade. Third fragment, Echo of Harvest, defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and a void breach. Our fourth fragment will be Echo of Starvation. Picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants you Devour. Let's move on to the weapons of choice, and let me just say that they're really up to your personal preference, but I definitely do think that you should be running the Ros Arago auto rifle. Now the Ros Arago is a void auto rifle that has a base fire rate of 600 rounds per minute, and the reason I'm suggesting it is because you could get the rewind rounds and onslaught perks on it at the same time, allowing you to absolutely piss bullets onto your enemies, and not just like any bullets, no, volatile bullets like purple piss, man. Now the Ros Arago is a world drop and cannot be crafted, so keep your eyes open until you do get it. Make sure you have the rewind rounds and onslaught perk on it, please. For the exotic weapon, I prefer to run the Leviathan's Breath, which is an amazing weapon to take out bosses, and it's void. Purple should go boom. Now this weapon hits like a truck and staggers bosses, allowing you to keep unloading your DPS on the enemy without having to, run away from them. For the primary, I prefer to run something like the Scatter Signal with Controlled Burst and Overflow, since it's a pretty good weapon. Okay, let's talk about the mods you should run for your build. On your helmet, you should run a harmonic siphon and 2 heavy ammo finders so you could keep your Leviathan's breath topped out on ammo. If you can't put 2 of them, you can just put 1, it's fine, it will do. For the gauntlets, I like to run 1 momentum transfer, which reduces melee cooldown when you deal damage with your grenade, and 2 bolstering detonations, which will give you class ability cooldown whenever you deal damage with your grenade. For your Garfield, just run whatever damage resistances you need for your mission. And for your Air Force Ones or Jordans, whatever you want, 1 recuperation for healing in case you can't kill any enemy in time and you're about to die, insulation for class ability cooldown, and finally Void Scavenger for ammo economy. Moving on to your Superman cape, equip a Reaper mod which will force a defeated target to spawn an orb of power shortly after you use your class ability. Then get yourself a powerful attraction to collect those orbs of power near you when you dodge. And finally, utility kickstart for class ability regen. Now that you have the build ready, let me explain to you how the build fully works and synergizes to itself. To start everything, you need to be invisible. You can either do that by dodging or picking up a void breach. Once you exit your invisibility, your void weapons will shoot volatile rounds. Volatile rounds will make enemies explode and spread the damage around them. The first enemy that you kill will drop an orb of power or a void breach. Picking up either one will grant you Devour, and also turn you invisible again, restarting the loop. Devour will keep you alive as long as you keep killing enemies, and killing an enemy will refresh your volatile rounds and Devour cooldown of 15 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and helpful, and if you have any suggestions on what I could alter in my build to improve it, please do let me know. I'm really interested in what you guys can come up with. Thank you, see you! For your Garfield, just run whichever damages. For your Garfield, just run whatever damages.